take pick one or two things. Now the big talk, 9 be this one this morning. They call me the chief priest. I get Philemon Ajakuko live for inside of the studio. Now quickly, President Muhammadu Buhari been done come outside, they don't sign that they call them assent. They don't assent to the bill, among other bills. In fact, about bills them winning assent to basically. Some of them na amendment bills. Some of them na amendment bills. Now, what did they call them? Maybe bills that they existed before. You can't check on this for inside of the matter. And some of those bills, we want to check the content and then check what it mean, what it be the implication, what in all of those ones mean for inside of you and me where it consign. All right, all of those things I want you to check this morning on top of the big talk about 19 bills, 16 of those bills now constitution amendment bills, and then other bills that are still there on top. Now, inside those bills, some of them, we're not going to go inside all of them, but to get some key ones, we'll check. Like states now, they allowed from within the bill they talk about where president don't assent to, don't sign. States they allowed to generate and transmit their own electricity. Yes, states they allowed to generate and transmit their own electricity. States they allowed and to do it to still run their own railways. You understand? States governments, like the 36 states now, 36 railways. So we go check all of those ones. Then as much railways as possible, because states basically are allowed. Then President and then the governors, the president and the governors, guys do it in, guys create or form their governments, form their cabinets within 60 days of inauguration. That one means say, as it be, if, for instance, this, as you don't assent them, so any incoming president or incoming governors across the states, they go do it in, then get 60 days from inauguration to get their cabinets, all the ministers and commissioners, everything ready. Okay? Then you still check some other things where they involve state assemblies and the judiciary, then get the financial autonomy, make them day their day. These are some of the key things, some of the bills where President Muhammadu Buhari are sent to. All right, and then plenty. But make we just narrow in on some of these ones. Very important. They call me the chief priest. I get Safil this morning. Safil, welcome again.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, welcome again. Now, some of these bills, very important, very significant. Maybe not important. Well, they are important too. They are important, but significant. Now, strong bills. The others ones where President don't put his signature down on top of their head. So now, but first of all, before we even enter the matter, when they say President don't assent to these bills, it means that the bills that don't become law.
Yes.
That means all of this is what they talk about now don't start to take effect.
That's right.
But I want to make we get that one clear first, because I say assent, it means say you don't pass first reading, second reading, and you don't drop on top of the table. Himself don't say, okay, carry go. It is now a law in the country. All right, now make we come inside, make we enter inside of the matter. The first one, where would it look? Where we say make we narrow down on states they allowed to generate and transmit their own electricities. How you see this one? And then electricity, their to run their railways and all of that. Now, sustainable, is that a sustainable model?
Let's look at it from the development point of view. Energy is everything.
True that.
It is what I have said it here many times.
Yes.
It is what drives civilization. From the time, you remember the early man and fire and all that and all that. Then came wind, then came water, and then the Industrial Revolution down to this point. So I have no idea why, as a country, we put energy, electricity, in the exclusive list. I have no idea how we came about that. And if I tell you the damage it has done to this country, it's incalculable.
That means this move supposed done.
It's not even supposed we're not even supposed to go near them in the first place
because we're supposed to decentralize this thing in the first place from day one.
Because the first plant in Nigeria was not a central plant; it was a plant in Lagos, tending only to Lagos. So I don't know how we say, oh, if you want to do electricity, it must be for the federal government. But then, how many years later, we have realized that we have made a fool of ourselves, so to speak. Because before now, a few state governments tried. I remember Rotimi Amechi built a plant in Rivers State. But after building the plant, the federal government said, whatever is coming from those plants will be fed into the national grid. And then from the national grid, we go give you something. It's not saying that everything you fed into the grid will be given to you back, specifically for Rivers State.
So what do you generate?
So what do you generate?
You cut small.
You cut small, give me. It's like me, I cook the food, carry and come meet you. You take one hand, just give me one small whatever of a base. Take, make it go manage. So you use the state resources, you build a plant, and then you get a fraction of the product of that plant. Where is that done? Then number two, the whole idea of centralizing electricity has been shown all over the world to be a failed experiment.
All over the world?
All over the world. Anybody that is running, any country that is running a centralized system
for their energy or power,
we will have problems, except, let me qualify it now, except you have the infrastructure to support a robust infrastructure to support it.
A central supply
that is so robust that it can carry without any downtime the entire country. Otherwise, the model now is disaggregated supply of electricity. So no wonder between 2015 and 2017, and this is why this is so important to me. I had a fellow came up from the UK to introduce waste to power in Nigeria. Waste to power. You use waste, municipal waste, to generate electricity. And the state government, what was needed from the state government? Zero commitment, almost zero. Because all they needed from the state government was a piece of land and then a power purchase agreement. So we went to Kano, we went to Kaduna, we went to Cross River, we went to Rivers, we went to Delta, my own state, to sell this project. We couldn't make headway. And one of the reasons why we couldn't make headway was because they were thinking, if we do this, what happens? What happens with the discos that have the franchise to run electricity in these places? And you remember geometric experience in Aba? For 5 or 6 years, this company was in court with the discos. Because the discos said, no, this is my franchise. You can't come and take part of my franchise, especially part of my franchise that is very profitable. You cannot take it. Meanwhile, the same disco cannot supply electricity to this same area that they say is profitable. So you have that conflict of interest. So all over the states, we ran into that problem. And then there was also the problem of purchase agreement. Because for you to do a power purchase agreement, you must also get the discos involved. Now, how do you get your competitor involved in your own show? That also became a problem. So now that we have realized the mistake we made for almost 120-something years, 120-something years we made this mistake, how do we go back to sort out ourselves?
Exactly, because
we have a serious challenge.
But this one has a step in the right direction.
It's a step in the right direction, but it has come far, far late into the day. So the cost to us now of doing what we should be doing is far, far higher. What was the cost of building, let's say, a 400 megawatt plant in 2015 2010 or 2020 or 1999? What was the cost?
Vis-a-vis today.
The cost today. Now, in the past 20, 25 years, we have had serious problem with our resources. Don't forget that most of these states cannot even generate enough to pay their own staff, right?
Yeah.
So where are they going to get the money from to build this plan? Because most of the states depend on the federal government for subvention, all right, or for monthly allocation. And between 2015 and now, we have seen the price of oil doing the babonering, this kind of crazy dance that nobody understands. So we are bleeding in terms of revenue. Now, that means automatically that if we need to build these plants, we have to borrow. How much are we into debt now? At the federal level, for instance, local debt is about 44 trillion, right?
Yes.
Now, go to each of these states that we are talking about. Find out how much they are owing, both local and external debts. What that means is, if you now want to borrow to build a plant, do you think you will qualify to borrow? And who is going to provide that money? For a long time, we have been running to China because the West, the rest of the West, I mean the Western world, the Europe and America, they are kind of fed up with the debt we are in. They have given us so much money, we have not been able to pay back. You remember Obasanjo's period where a whole lot of the debt was written off. Now, in 2023, some people are even beginning to suggest that we should go for another round of write-off. I know in my heart that is not going to happen. It's not going to happen because the Western world are also facing some economic challenges now.
Yes.
So the question now is, where are we going to get the money to do this project? So the only option that I think is left for us is small scale electric projects. Small scale wind project, small scale solar project, small scale battery projects. That is where we should be going. But that in itself has a disadvantage. The disadvantage because some of those small projects cannot carry big industries. If you know what I mean.
Yes. Manufacturing.
If you are manufacturing
major energy,
exactly
major
like
energy
Dangote,
supply. You get the company where you need major energy.
You need a major
power supply.
Robust power supply system. It's not a solar. So you have that, but it will do us some good if we decentralize, build these small plants. Why will it do us some good? Because a lot of people, small players in the, you remember, I don't know whether it's you and I that had this discussion about the informal sector and how much it contributes. We said as much as 60%. So which means that if you can support the informal sector with electricity, take Abuja for instance, go to the plazas, complete madness. You have a plaza and you have 100 generators.
Everyone has a generator. And then they're all on at the same time because I like to know they're at the same time. So
and then you talk about the cost of fueling those generators
and the carbon emission.
We're not
that one another talk.
That one are witchcraft something. So because we die and we don't know what kills us. So if you can support those people, if you can support the market, if you can support the hair makers, you increase disposable income. When you increase disposable income, you are increasing gross domestic product. You have
the GDP.
GDP or GNP as the case may be. And that will make the life of the people better.
Because I want to ask you what it mean for the private sector, but you don't really clear on now. But that's not electricity.
Yeah.
So I feel electricity now one area. Now we could talk about railway. Now, railway own electricity, they more are they actually talk, are they follow you, are they picture what you talk. But railway, are they curious to know what you get to talk, especially first off, what will happen to Nigerian Railway Corporation. Now them go still they oversee the divisions or waiting to really happen. Then they still get that. Then waiting to happen. That means they go and bundle them. Then one area, the other area now you go check the issue of security and all of that. Where they happen for the rail system across the country. If you decentralize them, for instance, Kaduna Abuja rail, that one happen for inside states, for inside this country. The train will derail sometime. It happened for inside a state in this country. So decentralizing or devolving or allowing states to run their own rails, it will solve some of these problems.
You see, the rail matter is even more complicated than that of electricity. Why is this more complicated? Because you can't do a little chunk of railway. You can't do a railway of 1 mile or 2 miles. And
mostly they go connect more than one state.
You go connect. Railway need to run for a longer, over a longer territory in order to make it sustainable. So now, and this is where we got it wrong again. Let me use that word. Again, we got it wrong again. Take Abuja, for instance. As far back as 2007 or thereabout, we conceived, when I say we now, I don't take my body, join a government, like say I did government. We were supposed to have a rail system in Abuja, right? And by 2023, we should have been in either the second or third tranche of that rail system. As we talk today, the first tranche we never completed. Abuja as a city, what do we call it now? FCDA, never complete that first tranche. And so, look at what has happened to Abuja, transportation in Abuja. Now, everybody is on the road, and that is creating congestion. There are people who live in Nasarawa, right? And they go to work in Gwagwalada. Sometimes I don't even know how they function. Now,
they wonder that one too.
Right. Now even put that aside, because when you talk about the rail, in and of itself, it's not enough, because rail, not if it go everywhere. So you have to have a modal transportation system in order for one to complement the other. That was why many years ago we had the Air Rufai buses, right? Now, if those Air Rufai buses were running as they should be running today, and the railways project, the railway project for the capital city had been in place, think about what life could have been. It means that I am coming here this morning, I don't necessarily have to drive. I can just take the bus to the rail, and then the rail, I take the bus to this place, right? So now, the same issue that is confronting the electricity is also going to confront railway. It is a highly capital intensive project. It sucks billions.
So states no go fit run them?
I don't see.
What if states come together? Because ideally the rail will run across states. What if like Rivers Delta and maybe Rivers Delta Bayelsa team up, do one south rail, just not so long, just across 3-4 states? What if now collabo
will help? But I remember one politician used to say 5 leprous fingers. if you bring 5 leprous fingers together, what can they achieve? You have states who cannot pay salaries
and pensions.
You have states that cannot pay pension. But it also makes sense for you to aggregate states in a railway project. But first, a railway project is not about interstate as we are seeing it now. It's about intrastate. That's the first thing you want to deal with,
and that's the first thing. Probably within this particular law, they look
at within a state. How do you make movement? Take Lagos State, 22 million people. How do you move such massive amount of people? Go to New York. the first time I went to a rail station in New York, I was so shocked. I was so shocked by the number of people that were pouring out of the train station that I took my phone and started filming. And before I knew it, I was picked up by the police.
Wow.
Yes, I was picked up by the police.
For filming?
For filming. Because they thought I was maybe planning some kind of attack. This was just after 9/11. So I couldn't understand. And they took me for questioning. But the point I'm making is, in New York alone, every day we have about 6 million people plus that go through the rail system. Think about it. That's the population of a state, of sometimes 2 states in Nigeria. Because most states in Nigeria, you have 4 million, 5 million, whatever.
Yes.
So think about 6 million people. And that was possible because there is a radial system of rail in New York itself, not even bigger, let's say the metropolitan region in America, which comprises of DC, Maryland, Philadelphia, and all that and all that. So, for a state to be able to sustain a rail system, that's the only state that I see doing that successfully now is Lagos.
Okay.
Perhaps Kano.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
How about like a Rivers, for instance?
Rivers. Perhaps Rivers.
Perhaps Rivers.
Yes, perhaps Rivers. All other states should please not just go into that kind of thing. Because if they go into it, they will come out bloody-nosed. So what those states should be thinking about right now is an effective bus system. That is achievable.
But states that get partnerships, or states will reach out to people, say, wanna join us, more build railway for we state, see what we could do for that. If they get support, I mean, it's still an option.
You when you do that, you also have to look at the revenue profile. If I go to a state like Ekiti, I say I want to go and build railway, I will be mad. I mean, I'll be completely insane. How many people are in the Ekiti state that you will be able to make a good return to sustain running a railway project? Or if you go to a state like Gombe, or we have so many states that cannot support railway system. That's the point I'm making. Now, right. Is it possible to do some collabo? Yes, but it also comes with complications. Because once you go into collabo, when you are doing your own thing, you do your own thing. You control your own thing. Once you go into a collabo, you have you have partners, then it gets a little bit more complicated. Because my interest may not be the same thing as your interest, right? So, should they focus on interstate railway line at this moment in our history? I don't think that would be the best use of our money.
All right. Make we switch up the gear small. Besides. Yes.
For interstate, that is where the federal government has to come in. Because that is where they can make a lot of impact. That I think should be the preserve of the federal government. Because you can build a railway from here to Kano, from Kano to River State. Once you do that, then it means that the railway stations built by whatever state that can support it, we just how do I put it now? We just connect, as it were, evacuate its own people into the national railway line for people who are going across states.
But if this thing come solid, national railway system now, what will go happen? Something like Nigerian Railway Corporation. What will happen to that organization?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't affect it.
It doesn't affect.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't affect it at all.
At all.
What it will do is that it will even enhance what the states will be doing. Because I build a line from like the east-west road they are talking about. If you include a railway that will run from Lagos to Calabar, then for people who are traveling from Calabar to Lagos, They take the railway lines within Cross River State or River, what do we call it now? Yeah, within Cross River State, and they move into you evacuate them into the national lines. So they become some kind of symbiotic thing. You know, the local railway lines supporting the national lines, and then the national lines supporting the state lines.
All right, so make we switch up a lot of things there to talk, and we get very short time, but we'll try as much as possible. Now, still part of that, now the electricity and rail are one thing. Still part of the bills, we don't become law now because President has sent to RAM. State assemblies, state judiciaries, they get financial autonomy.
Yeah.
Is this one too coming too late? Are we? Is this the right time for this particular one?
We should have done that long time ago, but it's not coming. The effect is not as pronounced as the others, because you remember when Oji Uzor-Kalu.
Yes, Oji Uzor-Kalu.
When Obasanjo said he couldn't run because he had been indicted by EFCC, and the EFCC got a federal court to issue that order. What Oji Kalu did was to go to a state high court, talk to a judge there, and the judge issued the same thing against Obasanjo. And Obasanjo is also qualified to run because of 1, 2, 3, 4. So the state courts have been under the undue influence of governors. And so we had a regime where state courts issue suspicious and frightening judgments because they are looking forward to their master or their puppeteer or their pipers. Right. Now, justice is not about what court you are approaching, whether it's a state high court or it's a federal high court. Justice should be justice. And what we have seen back then was that if you have a case with your state governor and you go to a state high court, my brother, you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. And that's not justice. So the fact that the state high court will no longer be under the financial supervision, so to speak, of the state governor liberates the judges to be able to function the way the Constitution wants them to function. To be able to disperse justice the way it is specified in the Constitution.
The state governors or anybody, they are on their own financially.
They are on their own.
So now, very good move with this one.
It's a good move. But we would like to see how they will live up to the reputation. Yeah, because it's one thing to be given that freedom. The next question is, what are you going to do with the freedom? Because we still have situations where governors, or not just governors, big people in society influence the judiciary. This is not speculation. It is out there, and we have had several cases where certain judgments just baffle you, and you say, where the hell is the judgment coming from?
And then there are cases where some of the people for the political class too are either lawyers or life benchers, or they get one or two things for the legal, for inside the judiciary too, then get leg there.
We even have an ongoing case now where a very serious senior lawyer is being accused of peddling influence with respect to the judiciary. The case is ongoing right now, to the point where there's a big fight between or amongst members of the NBA. Right. So let us see what happens. Let us see how the judges will live up to their expectations. Then, as for
the State Assembly,
This is the one that has also done a lot of damage to the system. Because the function of the state assembly is oversight. Is to look at the governor and say, no, this is not what you should be doing. You brought out a budget. This is what the budget says. This is what the budget says. And this is what you are doing. How much did you appropriate for this project? How much have you spent? It is the function, the constitutional function of the state assembly to put the governor
in check. As checks and balances.
Yes. This they have not been able to do for a very, very long time. And when you have lawmakers who are how do I put it now? Who stand to take up their name to say, I was voted or I am voted to perform this function. Look back and see what happened to them. Just look back and see what happened. Persecution, expulsion. If you have a speaker that is not playing the game according to what the governor wants,
he gets impeached.
He gets impeached.
Okay. But now make we look at if they say autonomy, financial autonomy for the state assemblies, that one thing. It go give them some level. It go give them some. It go boost them small. But I don't know whether you feel say the influence of governors. Because many people don't push this argument. The governors are too powerful. People don't. I don't know whether you don't hear that talk before.
Yeah.
Nigerian governor. Now, the influence of governors. I don't know whether the influence they beyond. They don't reach the point where we say even if you not give state assembly financial autonomy, they go still be rubber stamp because the governors don't. It takes some states. No one go they call specific names, but take some states with what they happen. How powerful the governors don't be oppress oppression, suppress opposition, oppress anybody. Nobody. Governors are almost dictatorial. Almost. So I
don't think that we should even shy away. Take what is happening in Edo State.
Yes.
It's something in the public. It is not speculation. Where certain people who even won elections were not sworn in. We've had situation where the governor said, "Oh, I want you guys can sit here because I want to change the roof of your assembly." We have seen situation where out of maybe 20. Only 7 or 8 or 9 that are loyal.
That will sit and pass a judgment that is binding. We don't see all those things.
They are all over the place. It happened in so many states. It happened in Plateau State. It happened in River State. It happened in Edo State. Just name it.
So then the question now, this autonomy, financial autonomy, will it tame? Will it tame?
Let us look let's look at it dispassionately. And this is what I think. It will make it a bit costlier for the governors to lobby. Before now, there was an element of impunity. There was an element of brazenness. It's like, okay, if you don't do what I want you to do, then you go to hell.
There's a consequence.
There's a consequence. Now, the guy who is sitting knows that his salary is assured. His allowances assured. So the only thing he will be missing will be the perks from the governor. But if we are sincere to ourselves, if we are true to ourselves, you know that when you are elected, for God's sake, you are elected to bring the dividends of democracy to the people. You are elected so that you can enhance the life of the people of a state. You are not elected to collect hampers, gifts from the governor. That is not your function. So today, you can see the effect of lack of good governance. Before, it used to hurt only the poor. Today, it's hurting everybody. Abi? By that I mean, everybody has become exposed to criminality. Those who felt before that, oh, once I'm in government, I could have a police officer, I could have 2 police officers. I knew of one ex-governor that was always going around with at least 24 mobile policemen. I'm not making it up. 24 mobile policemen. Now, today, that is not an assurance that you will not be attacked. Because they will kill you, they will kill the police officers.
Attack the entire convoy.
Attack the entire convoy. So now, that is as a result of the failure to do the right thing. So today, now that this law is in place, that is not to say we should have a acrimonious relationship between state governments and their legislators. That is not to suggest it. But what we are saying is that this is the time for everybody to bear in Papa's name. If you say you have integrity, you have the autonomy now, you have the freedom to stand on your feet and say, if something is not right, call the governor and say, no, this that you are doing is not right.
If there's a bill you want to sponsor out your full chest, where you know say could benefit your people.
The era of a governor presenting a budget, and within 24 hours, I'm even being generous. Within hours, the budget is passed. Should be over. Every budget now should be subjected to excruciating scrutiny to ensure that it will serve the people. Every law that is proposed from the executive should be subjected to scrutiny to ensure that it serves the people.
Is it people oriented?
Is it people oriented? Will it breach our rights in certain ways? You, as a state legislator, this is the time for you to take a position and do the right thing.
Do the right thing. All right, so that one at the angle of state legislature, legislature, that the houses of assembly for the states and the judiciaries for the states, and as I feel, don't throw light on top of that one. Autonomy go help, or autonomy, don't be like you don't cut rope for them to do what you supposed to do. No, you know they depend on your state governor and the state executive for money now. So do what you have to do. That one day there. Now the final one we'll go focus on before we open the phone line quickly. Make we look the area of this one is very important. The president, because right now we get one president elect with a standby. Then we still get governors elect with a standby. Some of the governors already there, so they already get cabinet. But the new ones go need to come in, either take from existing structure, then add their own, or create their own from scratch. But this final law we want check, be where president don't assent, we want check this morning. Not be the final for this morning, because they did 19 of them in total, so we're not going to look all of them. But for this morning, the last one we want check, the one we talk say president and governors go form their cabinets within 60 days of inauguration. 60 days, then are 3 months of inauguration. So now some people go look for two sides. Some people say, yes, you will define governor or you will define president. It's assumed that you already know what you want to do there. That's why you will define work. You know you have you get the basic competencies, and that includes sourcing for people. Or in fact, you suppose even don't get from mine saying, how they give me this job, I go pick Safil, I go pick Fred, I go pick for the job. You don't already know. So some people say that 60 days is too much, because already you should be prepared before going. Other people say no. Allow them to get there, enter the office, clean the chair, come out dust, look everywhere, say, okay, it be like from waiting that they see on ground, because from outside the view different. Waiting that they see on ground, the person will go help me do this work. Now this person, now this person, now this person. So they will need time to assemble their team. Now two different arguments on top of this matter. Safil, what do you feel about this?